Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to this top 5 video with me, your boy FIFA 1 HD, where we're going to be compiling my top 5 legend cards that cost under 300k, so are relatively cheap for a legend card, and that most people don't use, but I think have got real potential. I've used, tried and tested them, and they've been fantastic for me. So we're going to see what 5 players I pick, but before we do, please remember to hammer that like button like there's no tomorrow if you do enjoy the video. Also hit that subscribe if you are new, and if you've used any legends, let me know in the comments below who's been good for you, what players you've used, or if you think, you know, I've missed anyone out, leave all of that in the comments below. Ask me any questions if you're thinking about buying them as well. I'll answer each and every one of you. So we're going to start off with our first player. I am putting them in as concept players because I couldn't afford all of them at the same time. So I've had to sell, use them and sell them as I've gone on. But the first card we put in is Shearer and his 89 rated striker card. Now, a lot of people are put off by the pace. You know, 78 pace isn't fantastic. But this card is godly for many reasons. His shooting, obviously, is ridiculous. Like in real life, Shearer is one of the best finishers the world has ever seen, both with his head and with his feet. He just always seemed to score. Might not have been the most graceful player, and that sort of comes through in FIFA. You know, you're not going to be beating a million players because he hasn't got the dribbling ability, he hasn't got the pace to be making unbelievable runs, but if you get the ball into the box, that's where you're going to find him, and he is going to, you know, put the ball away 9 times out of 10 because his finishing stats at 92 are just ridiculous. Then he's got amazing positioning, shot power, long shots, volleys, penalties. This guy can do it all. He's great in the air as well, so whip the crosses in, he's going to get so many headers for you, and overall he's just a great hold up player and a really good striker. So if you don't mind using a slower player, maybe you could partner him with quick wingers or a quick striker and a cam behind him, and you're going to have no issue getting him chances to score. And when he gets the chances, he is going to score time and time again. He's currently going for around sort of like 240,000 coins, so relatively cheap and not too bad at all if you ask me. Next up, we have possibly my favourite out of all of these. He's the most expensive in this list, and that is Marc Overmars. Now, obviously, these cards do have a discard value of at least 100k, so they're never going to be cheap. And this one's the most expensive, coming in at around 300k. So that's my top for this list. But Overmars was well worth it for me. His pace was just electric. As you can see, 94 on the base card stats is ridiculous. Then throw in amazing shooting and brilliant dribbling, and you've just got one hell of a player. I would not play him at left mid. That's not where I played him. You know, I think that's a bit of a waste of his talents if you ask me. I would get him as high up as possible, left wing, left forward, and just play him almost like a striker because he is so good in front of goal. And what I loved about him was that he would get the ball, he would give it back to any player around him, and he would be on the run straight away. That give and go, little 1-2s, he did superbly. And that just meant it was so easy to get him in time and time again. And once he got the chances, he was clinical, like, you know, like you would expect from a really top goal scorer, from a top striker. He was putting them away every single time. And just the amount of goals that I scored with Overmars just meant he had to make this list. Because while he is one of the more expensive legends and the most expensive in this list, he was brilliant. And I mean, he played like a player worth 4, 5, 600,000 coins. And he's a legend card, so he's extra special. For me, I just really enjoyed using him. His dribbling ability is superb, so he can beat players with absolute ease. He's got loads of pace, and I'm really surprised that he costs so little when you actually think about it. So next up, we have a more interesting selection, and that is Jamie Carragher. I'll just go and put him in. There we go. So Jamie Carragher is definitely the cheapest player in this list. He pretty much goes for discard value, if I'm honest, just over 100,000 coins, and that's obviously because of his pace, you know, or lack of, I should say. But 64 pace, when I used him, I had no issues at all. I found him to be very, very good. He was always in the right position, so his pace wasn't too much of an issue. And if you partner him with a quicker centre-back, and, you know, quicker fullbacks, you'll have no issues at all. And what I loved about Carragher was he was always on the front foot, always looking to win the ball early, get the tackles in, you know, win the ball back as quickly as possible, which then negates the lack of pace because he doesn't give them any time to control the ball, to run at him. He's just on them straight away. Great tackles, great physicality to him. You know, obviously he's great in the air as well. So both, you know, defensive corners and attacking corners, he's going to be rising like a salmon and really getting on the end of it. So he's great aerially. But just the strength, his know-how defensively and his tackling made him an absolute fantastic choice for me. He was also quite tidy with the ball. You know, because he was winning it so quickly, he was able to get the ball and move it to the players who could really make a difference. And for me, I just thought, what a great player to use. Really nice to have a cheap legend, and he was definitely one I would recommend for any team, to be quite honest, because I thought he was brilliant. Penultimately, we have the little magician, as some called him, and that is Gianfranco Zola. Again, another card I can't quite believe is as cheap as he is. He's currently going for around sort of, you know, 230, that sort of mark. And what a player he is. You know, 85 pace is brilliant. I played him at cam. You could easily play him at centre forward or striker, but I think cam's a great position for him because it just allows him to play in that pocket and just collect the ball with a little bit of space, and then once he's got that space, my God, does he have an arsenal of skills to be able to use the ball. He's got fantastic pace at 85 pace, which is really, really nice, but he also has the really good dribbling, lovely shooting, his passing is pinpoint, so he can play people in, he can move the ball well himself, and he can definitely shoot and score. Brilliant for finesse shots, obviously that's one of his sort of specialities. His finishing is so high, he makes really, really good runs, always looking to play little 1-2s, getting behind in a similar way to Overmars did for me, and that just meant playing him at cam, the link-up play was brilliant, and I really enjoyed using him. He's so clinical in front of goal. He doesn't quite have the long shots in terms of absolute power like a Gerrard or even a Shearer for that example, but what he does have is superb curve. So if you are on the edge of the box, just finesse it and it'll just fly in. If you've got a yard of space, that is the best practice with Zola. I thought he was brilliant. Tons of assists with this guy, lots of fun. His close control was exceptional, and even when he did get tackled, he just seemed to ride it out and just, you know, sneak his way through. Very, very good overall. Probably one of my favourite. Him and Overmars were definitely two of my favourite legend cards that I used in this video. And finally, we have another former Premier League player, and that is Ole Gunner Solksjear. Again, quite a cheap card. This card goes for between 120k and 140, depending on the day. It can vary, but it's a great card. I probably wouldn't play it at striker. I did use him at striker most of the time, but at cam, he definitely seems very, very appealing because he's got good pace for a cam, which is nice. And then he's got fantastic shooting where he just makes great runs. He's got really good positioning. His finishing is really high. You know, it's very, very good. So whenever he gets a chance, he is going to score it. His dribbling is pretty neat and tidy at 81. It's nothing on Zola's level or Overmars, but it's neat. It's very usable in that sort of area. His passing and his physicality is okay. That's probably why he is quite cheap, because he's good in a lot of areas, but there are certain aspects that lack. But I found him to be pretty damn useful, and once he got a chance, my God, did he bury it pretty much every time. So that was my top 5 relatively cheap legends. Obviously they cannot go under 100k, so that is the sort of pinpoint for where, you know, the ceiling. So that is like the ceiling level of where they can go to. But for me, between 100k and 300k, that is relatively cheap for legends, because some can go up to crazy astronomical figures like your George Bests. you know, Pele, etc. They are just ridiculously priced. These are affordable legends that are really, really good and well worth using. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you did, like I said, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let me know if you've used any of these guys. If you think I've missed anyone out, leave all of that in the comments below. I love reading what you guys think, and I love answering all of your questions. And peace!